All right, today we are diving into a truly epic saga. I'm talking about identity, oppression, and of course, revolution. This is the story of a people who were defined by their faith, their heritage, and this one single powerful color that became everything to them. It was their mark of persecution, but it also became their symbol of rebellion. And that color? It was blue. And, it all really comes to a head with this one single, absolutely chilling command from a king. Think about that. A command that didn't just kick off a war, no, it unleashed a full-blown genocide. It threw an entire people into a desperate fight for their very survival. And this is the cost. An estimated 1 million people dead in a single district. I mean, that number is just staggering. And it's so much more than a statistic, right? This was the breaking point. This was the moment a conflict that had been simmering for centuries finally, violently exploded. Right? So that event has a name, the Massacre of Favella. We're talking about a state-sponsored purge that took a generations-long struggle and just turned it into an all-out war for existence. Seriously, this was the moment that changed everything. And the cruelty of this massacre, it was systematic. I mean, King Shalaman didn't just order an attack. He basically unleashed total annihilation. His marshals were using fire-breathing machines, and get this, they had loudspeakers encouraging regular Cairo civilians to jump in, to loot and burn. The brutality was just unbelievable. It was all personified in the public torture and dismemberment of a Roobian elder at a sawmill. You see, the goal wasn't just to kill them, it was to utterly and completely break their spirit. So, okay, this raises a huge question, right? I mean, this level of pure hatred, it just doesn't come out of nowhere. Who are these people, the Roobies, and what about them could possibly provoke such a violent, targeted purge? Well, to understand the why, we really have to dig into their identity. The story of the Roobies is the story of the people who were marked, and I mean that in every sense of the word, by the color blue. It is woven into the very fabric of who they are. So at their core, the Roobies are a minority clan on the planet Aqua Station. Their entire identity is really built on 3 big pillars: their spiritual beliefs, their ancient heritage, and their core philosophy, which is called Dharma. And Dharma is all about righteousness and living in harmony with the universe. And that color blue, it is absolutely central to their identity. It's everywhere. It's in their traditional clothing, in their tattoos, it's on their flag. But the most important symbol of all is something called the Blue Kalit. It's a sacred mark they wear on their foreheads. And what's really fascinating is that what started out as a symbol of peace, well, it became a mark of defiant resistance. It was like a public declaration that they would never, ever kneel. But look, this conflict goes so much deeper than just politics. It's really a philosophical war. On one hand, you have the Roobies, who follow Dharma. They believe that resources have to be used with restraint, to maintain a kind of cosmic balance. Then you have the Kairos. They believe in dominion, the idea that the universe is just a big pile of resources to be exploited for building an empire. It's a complete, fundamental clash of worldviews, one that started thousands of years ago. And as you can imagine, that huge philosophical divide had very real, very painful consequences. Because of their beliefs, the Roobies were systematically marginalized. They were shoved into the slum of Favella, they were denied jobs, and they were dehumanized with these awful labels like savages and mudbloods. Their oppression wasn't just abstract. It was social, economic, and deeply personal. But even in the absolute darkest moments of oppression, sometimes a little glimmer of hope can emerge. And for the Roobies, that hope came from 2 places: an ancient prophecy and a desperate, incredibly costly escape. Okay, so this is the prophecy of Musa, and it was apparently carved into the oldest artifact in the entire universe. It foretold the coming of a Messiah, someone of mixed heritage who would rise up and rule. Now this became the ultimate rallying cry for the Roobie resistance, and they believed they found its fulfillment in this one young man, Alan Cairo, who just so happened to be the son of a Cairo warrior and a Roobie mother. So fueled by this prophecy, but also facing complete annihilation, the Roobies organized this massive exodus. We're talking 5 million people trying to flee Aqua Station in these, makeshift ships, and the journey was just catastrophic. 40% of them, 2 million souls, perished in the attempt. Survival came at a truly staggering cost. But the 3 million who managed to reach the moon of Lunaris, they were the ones who would begin to regroup.
So what happens when an entire community of refugees decides to become an army? Well, up on the barren moon of Lunaris, that's exactly what happened. These desperate survivors started to forge themselves into a disciplined military force and build a really powerful and kind of unexpected alliance.
And their transformation was built on what they called the 3 pillars of survival. These were brutal but super effective training methods. And the best part? They were stolen from the regime's own elite special forces. First was the 3-count free technique, all about overcoming hesitation and fear. Second, the takedown, which taught them how to use gravity as an ally against bigger, stronger enemies. And third, weaponizing, learning how to turn literally anything into a tool of death. This is how refugees became warriors. And here's the thing, they weren't alone. They forged something called the Entente Alliance with 2 other clans, the Azores and the Jimbos. And this alliance wasn't just about strategy, not at all. They actually discovered they were all descended from the same ancient Relijan bloodline. So this wasn't just a war anymore. It was basically a family reunion against a common enemy. Okay, so now they have a trained army and a powerful alliance. The stage was finally set for the climax. It was time to go back. It was time to reclaim their home in an all-out assault on the capital city, Eldora. And their strategy was just brilliant, like a perfectly coordinated storm. It was a 4-pronged invasion, with each force striking from a different direction. And this was deeply symbolic, because it was designed to mirror the 4 arms of their sacred swastik symbol, an ancient sign of well-being and cosmic order for them. So you had an air assault from the north, they shattered the walls in the east, raided the barracks from the south, and from the west, Alan Cairo led a flash freeze attack on the elites. Overwhelming. But the true turning point of this entire battle wasn't just about military strategy. No, in the heat of the fight, their leader, Dashmin Roobie, actually fused with the Swastik Astra, this incredibly powerful ancestral relic. And his skin, it began to shimmer with a divine, cold blue aura. At that moment, he became something more than a king. He became the living embodiment of all their spiritual fury, the Blue Tiger. And this, of course, led to the final epic duel. You had King Shalamon, all decked out in his royal wolf armor, facing off against Dashmin in his divine Blue Tiger form. It was the royal wolf versus the Blue Tiger. I mean, this was a clash of symbols, a clash of philosophies, of entire civilizations, all playing out right there on the rooftop of the Kairian castle. You know, for all that buildup, the duel was incredibly swift. The Blue Tiger just completely overpowered the royal wolf. And with a final, deeply symbolic blow from a Manduri, that's the traditional Robian ceremonial dagger passed down through generations, Dashmin ended the reign of the tyrant. A king had fallen. But victory in war is rarely a clean thing, is it? This hard-won liberation, the culmination of centuries of pain and struggle, was almost immediately stained by an act of horrific atrocity. And it raises some really profound questions about the very nature of their revolution. I think this one single moment just captures the whole moral conflict perfectly. Picture this, as the Roobies raise their blue banner, the ultimate symbol of their reclaimed identity, over the city, another one of their leaders was in the process of massacring the king's entire family. The sin of that one act just tainted their entire victory, turning what should have been a moment of pure triumph into one of deep, profound moral ambiguity. And all of this leaves us with a final lingering question. The Roobies won their freedom, sure, but at what cost? They answered one tyrant's atrocities with their very own, basically perpetuating the exact same cycle of violence they fought so hard to escape. So when all the fighting is finally over, what is the real difference between a righteous crusade and a self-inflicted curse?